Hello students, my name is Kritika and I am your computer digital mentor. Today we are going to start our chapter number 4, that is working with queries, forms and reports. So students, before we start our chapter, let's have a quick look at some lesson objectives. First we have what is query, then creating a query, then creating a query in Query Wizard, then formatting a form, exporting a report, then setting a relationship between tables, specifying simple and multiple criteria, then what are forms and then what are reports. So students, now let's start our chapter. A database is a collection of information that is organized so that it can be easily acquired, managed and updated. Computers database typically contain aggregations of data, records or files containing information on about sales, transaction, interaction with specific customers. So students, here you can see a flow chart, that is, first you can see company, users, marketing, personnel, then application, and in the middle you can see devices. So now students, let's start our first topic, that is what is a query. तो क्वेरी क्या होती है? A query is a request for data or information from a database table or combination of tables. This may be generated as result returned by structured query language. In our daily life, we make various type of queries to get a particular information. For example, which student are scoring above 85% marks, which student live in sector 16 Noida, and so on. We can make quick decisions depending on that criteria. Let us learn the concept of queries with the help of example given below. So our first example is, in the student table, we have records of class 8th and class 9th students. Suppose we want to extract the record of students of class 8th and class 9th who live in Noida. We can find this with the help of queries. Queries are made on tables and the results are shown in the form of table, that is, in a group of rows and columns with the set of records that match the given condition. Here you can see the interface of starting MS Access. Microsoft Access provides different types of queries: select, parameter, cross-tab, action and SQL, that is structured query language. Query. Now let's start our new topic, that is setting a relationship between tables. Relationship are links that relates a field in one table with the same field in the another table. In Access, you can store data in multiple tables to bring the information together. You require to define relationships between the tables. Once you have defined relationship between the table, data from both the table can be used by query, form or report. A relationship works by matching a field with the same name in both the tables. Generally, these matching fields are the primary key from one table that identifies each record in a table and a foreign key in the other table. A foreign key is a value in one table that must match with the primary key of another table. To set a relationship, create two tables, one with the name student that contain information about students like their roll number, father name, class, address and city, and the other with the name marks that contains the information about the student, roll number, percentage and grade. Open one of them in the datasheet view. Here you can see the interface of starting MS Access. Now students, it's time to know an interesting fact, that is, a select query receives data from one or more tables and displays the record set in a data sheet. You can also use a select query to group the data and to calculate the sum, count the average and the other type of total. Students, here you can see we have some steps to follow. Click on the Database Tools tab, select the Relationship button from the Relationship group. Now, the Show Table dialog box emerges. Select the desired table and click on the Add button. The selected table will display in the Object Relationship window. Similarly, another table to the relationship window. Now, you can start the queries tab if your relationship are based on queries, or start both tab if the relationship are based on both tables and queries. Now, click on the close button to close the show table dialog box. Move the primary key of the parent table, for example student table, and drop it over the same field in the child table, for example marks table. In our example, roll number is the primary key. So students, here you can see the interfaces along with the each step. Now, the edit relationship dialog box displays. Then click on the create button, access, create the relationship between the tables. Here you can see the interface of edit relationship window. So this is how you can create a relationship between the tables. A line linking the two tables will appear, denoting the both have been linked on the basis of the linked field. Click on the save button on the quick access toolbar to save the relationship, and then close the relationship window by clicking on the close button on the relationships group. So students, here you can see the interface, tables added to the relationship windows. So this is how you can maintain or you can create relationship between tables. Now our next topic is creating a query. So how will you create a query? Access dispenses two ways to create query. First, query wizard, and second, query design. So now let's learn about creating a query in design view. How will we create query in design view? The design view imports you more control over a query. It enables you to make a query from the scratch. So if you want to make a query in design view, you have to follow some steps. First is select the create tab on the ribbon and locate the queries group. Second, click on the query design command. Third, access will switch to query design view. Fourth, click add, then click close. Fifth, the selected table will appear as a small window in the object relationship pane. Students, here you can see the interface of selecting a table. Now let's learn about design grid. The design grid appears at the bottom of the query design below the design canvas. The selected query table shows a list of fields. Double click on the field name you would like to add in query. They will be added to the design grid, the bottom section of the query window. You can also add field to the query by moving them from the field list to the design grid. The design grid is same as a spreadsheet with columns indicating each field in the query. So now let us learn about the design grid. First, field. The name of the family field. The first row of the design grid shows the selected field name from the table. So students, before we move further, we have an interesting fact. To reopen the show table dialog box while creating a relationship, click on the show table button on the design tab in the relationship group. Now let's continue our topic. Next we have table. Below each field name is the name of the present table. Show. The show row exhibit a check mark. The field with the check mark show the information when the query is run. To hide the field during time, deselect the check mark by clicking on it. Then we have sort. This feature is used to filter the data either in an ascending or descending order. It is optional. Then we have criteria. It includes the condition on the basis of which the records will be filtered in the query output. Then we have sort index, a value that indicates the order in which sort criteria will be applied. Next we have or. This feature is used to set multiple criteria in a query. Then we have alias, the alternate name for a given field. Students, here you can see the interface of adding table in a query window. Now students, again we have an interesting fact that says the design grid is divided into rows and columns. Each column represents a field that will be include the output. Now let's learn about identifying simple criteria. So we identify criteria in the criteria row of the design grid, define the criteria value in the criteria row, and the data will be filtered accordingly in the query output. Let us understand it with the help of example given below. So given below we have some example. We have to read and understand. So first we have to view the roll number and names of student of class 8. Double click on the desired field in the table. Then next, drag the cursor to the criteria row and type the criteria is equals to 8 in the class field column. Then next, click on the sort property in the F name column and set it in the ascending order. Then next, click on the close button of the query window to save the query. A dialog box will emerge asking you to save changes to the design of query 1. Click on the yes button to save the changes. The save as dialog box will display. Define the query name and click OK. And here you can see the interface of specifying simple criteria. Next, the query name will display in the navigation pane. Make sure you have selected the All Access Objects option from the drop-down menu in the navigation pane. Double-click on the query name to view the query output. Then next, the query result will be appeared in the datasheet view, which looks like a table. And here you can see the interface along with the steps. Now students, again we have an interesting fact that says all the tables you select to include in your query will appear as a small window in the object relationship pane. Each window contains a list of the available fields within those tables. Now students, let's learn about identifying multiple criteria. How will you identify multiple criteria? Let's learn about it. To see information when either two or more alternate criteria are satisfied, you can make use of OR criteria row in the design grid of the query. So to do that, we have to follow some steps, and these are: from a wide range of records, you want to see the records of class 8 and class Startly. Then bring the cursor to the criteria row and type the condition is equals to 8 in class field. Type the section condition is equal to 9 in the row of the same column. Then next, now run the query by clicking on the run button on the design tab. Then next, the query result will be appeared in the datasheet view. Next, if you want to save your query, click on the save command in the quick access toolbar. When prompted to name it, type the required name and then click OK. So students, here you can see the interface of specifying multiple criteria, and here you can see the interface of query output. Now our next topic is making a query in Query Wizard. So now we are going to learn about how will you make a query in a Query Wizard. So let's learn about it. Here you can see we have Query Wizard. The power and flexibility of query design is the entire reason you use database program. They can quickly access, calculate and summarize the records that they pull from the various tables. Now, to make a query in Query Wizard, do the following steps given below. So students, if you want to make a query in Query Wizard, we have some steps to follow here. First we have click on the Create tab, then select the Query Wizard button in the Queries group. Here you can see the interface of New Query dialog box. Then the New Query dialog box displays the Simple Query Wizard option is selected by default. Click OK. Now the Simple Query Wizard screen displays as shown in the figure. Select the table that includes the data in the table or queries list box. Now add the field that you want to have in the query result. Now let's learn about to add field. Follow the given steps to add a field. So students, you have to follow these steps if you want to add a field. First we have select the desired field or fields in the available field box. Then next, click on the single forward arrow button or just double click on the field. Next, you will observe that the selected field is shifted to the selected field box. Now, suppose you want to add the field, then click on the double forward arrow button it will shift all the fields at once. Here you can see the interface of selecting query wizard. You can delete the selected field from the selected field box. To delete them one by one, click on the single backward arrow button, or to delete all at once, click on the double backward arrow button. Next, once you have selected the desired fields, then click on the next button. Now, the simple query wizard screen 2 of 3 displays promoting you to either select the detail or summary query. Simply click on the next button. Here you can see the interface, simple query wizard dialog. Then next, in the next step, simple query wizard screen 3 of 3 emerge. Enter a new title for your query. Now, notice that the open the query to view information radio button is selected by default. Now, click on finish button. Then the query result will display in the datasheet view. You will notice that the query name is visible in the navigation pane. Here you can see the interface of adding title for query. Now students, let's jump to our next topic, that is, what are forms? A form in Access is a database object that you can use to create a user interface for a database application. A bound form is one that is directly connected to a data source such as a table or query and can be used to enter, edit or display data from that data source. Any form you make from a table will allow you view the data that is already in that table. You can also add new data. A form can have a different name from a table, yet it manipulates the same information and data to the corresponding table. If you change a record in a form, it will be reflected in a table. Also, data can be inserted, updated and deleted from a table by using form object. You can work on a form in the following 3 ways. There are 3 views to work on form. The first one is form view is used to enter, edit and view data. Then second, design view is used to adjust the design of your form. It provides you a more detailed view of the structure of a form such as header, detail and footer sections. Then we have layout view is used to modify the appearance and size of different controls of a form. Here you can see the interface of creating a form. Now let's learn about making a form. How will you make a form in Access? Let's learn about it. To make a form, select a table or a query in the navigation pane that you want to use as the data source or the form. So if you want to make a form, you have to follow some steps. First one is click on the Create tab on the ribbon. Select the form option in the Forms group. Then a new form is created and open in the Layout view, in which you can modify the look of form. You will observe that 3 new tabs: Design, Arrange and Format display on the ribbon. Then next, if you want to modify or enter data in the form, click on the Home tab, then View button and then Form View. And here you can see the interface of formatting a form using Design tab. Now our next step is use the record navigation bar to move through the record in the form. Next, after completing the data entry, save your work by clicking on the Save option in Quick Access toolbar or the Save option in the File tab. You will notice that the form object gets added in the navigation pane. Now students, again we have an interesting fact that says an action query creates a new table or alters your data or database by adding, deleting, updating and appending data to it. Now students, let's start our new topic, that is formatting a form. After creating a form, you might want to modify its appearances. Formatting your form can help make your database look consistent and professional. Now let's learn about using Design tab. To format a form using Design tab, follow the steps given below. There are some steps to follow. First one is click on logo In the header footer group, insert picture dialog box, display, select any picture and click OK. Now next, click on title in the header footer group. Enter student's query as the title of the form. Next, click on date and time in the header footer group. The date and time dialog box will display. Choose the required format of the date and time and click OK. You will find date and time placeholders in the header section of the form. You can move these placeholders to the footer section also if you want to show date and time there. And here you can see the interface of formatted form. Now next step is click on themes in the themes group. Click on the desired theme from the drop down menu. Now let's learn about using format tab. So to format a form using format tab, follow the steps given below. So our first step is click on the background image in the background group. The browse button appears. Click on it. Locate and choose the picture in the insert picture dialog box and then click on the open button. Now next we have select the field to which you want to apply conditional formatting, say class. Click on the conditional formatting option in the control formatting group. Click on new rule in the conditional formatting rule manager dialog box. Under select a rule type, select check value in the current record or use an expression. Under edit the rule description, select the rule, apply desired formatting and click OK. Now students, our next topic is what are reports? So a report is an object in Microsoft Access that is used to display and print your data in an organized manner. The navigation pane is where you can find all the saved reports in the database. A report can be created exactly in the same way as we have created a form. The only change is that after selecting the Create tab, click on Report in the Reports group. Access create a report and places all fields of the selection table in the report. Here you can see the interface of creating a report. Now, 4 new tabs display on the ribbon while report is created. These are Design, Arrange, Format and Page Setup. So now we have some steps. First is click on the Save option on the Quick Access toolbar to save the report. Then next, the report objects get added in the navigation pane. So students, before we move further, we have an interesting fact. A report consists of information that is pulled from the tables or queries as well as information that is sorted with the report design, such as labels that provide underlying data are also known as reports record source. Now students, let's continue our topic. There are the 4 different types of views in which a report can be appeared. First is report view. You can view data of the report on this view but cannot make any changes in the design. Second, print view. This view enables you to see how the report will look like when printed. Then third, layout view. It gives a view that resembles what the report will actually look like to the user. In this view, you can also modify the design of the report to some extent, like change the size of different controls. Here you can see the interface of formatted report. Then fourth, design view. This view shows only the structure of the report, which can be changed and customized as per the requirement. This view does not show the underlying data but shows the expression that are used to create content. For example, you may find date function on the header section of the report but not the actual date. Here you can see the interface of print preview of a report. Now students, before we move further, we have a new interesting fact that says report consists of controls that provide the labels, field, value, line, pages, numbers and more that make up the report. Now let's continue our topic. Here we have formatting a report. You can format a report like forms applying different options present on the Design and Format tab. Here we have printing a report. Select the File tab and then click either on the print option or select the print preview view option to print a report. This view shows how the report will appear on a page. It also enables you to select the page orientation, page setup, etc. Here we have some points. If required, change the page size, margin, width and page orientation applying the related commands on the ribbon. Next, click on the print option. The print dialog box will display. Set the requirement print option and then click OK. Now students, our next and last topic of this chapter is exporting a report. A report contains a header and footer that run along the top and bottom of each page respectively. Header and footer can contain static text, images, lines, rectangles, background images and expressions. Here we have some point. First one is click on the drop down arrow of the view button on the home tab and select the print view from the drop down list of options. Next, the report will be opened, the print preview layout and the ribbon will show the commands associated with the print preview layout. Then next, on the data group, click on the drop down arrow of the more button and select the word. Here you can see the interface of selecting word application. Then next, the export RTF file dialog box will display on the screen. Select the location where you want to save the report and give a suitable name to the report. You will also find export option. Select the option as per your requirement. Next, click OK. Then next, a final screen will display on the screen informing you about the successful completion of the exporting process. Then next, click on the close button and then next, find the Word file where the report has been exported and open it. Here you can see the interface of exporting RTF file dialog box. So students, this is it from this chapter. Now let's have a look at some key points. First we have a query is a simple question that you ask to find a particular information from the database. Query उस क्वेश्चन को बोलते हैं जो हम डेटाबेस में किसी इंफॉर्मेशन को ढूंढने के लिए पूछते हैं. Then next, Microsoft Access provide different type of queries, select, parameter, cross-tab, action and SQL query. Microsoft Access के अंदर हमें different types of queries मिल सकती हैं जैसे कि select, parameter, cross-tab, action and SQL query. Then next, relationships are links that related to a field in one table with the same field in another table. रिलेशनशिप उस लिंक को कहते हैं जो किसी टेबल के एक फील्ड से दूसरे टेबल के सेम फील्ड से लिंक्ड होती है. देन नेक्स्ट, एक्सेस प्रोवाइड टू वे टू क्रिएट अ क्वेरी थ्रू द क्वेरी विजार्ड एंड थ्रू द क्वेरी डिजाइन. एक्सेस हमें दो तरीके से क्वेरी क्रिएट करने के तरीके देती है. फर्स्ट वन इज क्वेरी विजार्ड एंड सेकंड वन इज क्वेरी डिजाइन. नेक्स्ट, a form is a piece of paper on which a user fills the desired information in the specific field. एक फॉर्म हम उसको कहते हैं जिसके अंदर कोई भी यूजर स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन जो पूछा है उसको आंसर करती है किसी उस फील्ड के अंदर. नेक्स्ट, अ रिपोर्ट इज एन ऑब्जेक्ट इन MS Access that is used to display and print your data in an organized manner. MS Access में रिपोर्ट उसको कहते हैं जिसे हम अपना कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन हो उसको प्रिंट कर रहे हैं एक ऑर्गेनाइज्ड मैनर में. So students, this is it from this chapter. I hope you have learned something. Soon we are going to learn about many interesting chapters of computer. Till then, revise what we have learned today. Thank you.